Hi, this is the lesson number 17 in the series of British literature. So far, we have discussed some of the poems written by Sir Geoffrey Chaucer, and in this lesson, we shall continue our journey. Now, we discuss his masterpiece, the magnum opus, that is, Canterbury Tales. Magnum opus means the greatest piece of work by an artist. So certainly Canterbury Tales is considered as the greatest piece of work written by Sir Geoffrey Chaucer. It is written in Middle English, number one, and second, it has over 17,000 lines. So in the epic form we can consider, and it is been written from for 13 years, means he started writing this work in 1387 and till his death it was continued, means so this work was incomplete in itself. So far as the structure of this poem is concerned, there are 24 poems or short stories in this, means there are several characters and each of these characters narrate a story. So there is a collection of 24 stories in it, and it is incomplete as I told you that Chaucer died. And in the prologue, he mentions that there are 29 pilgrims, means the people who are going for this religious journey, and one narrator. Each of them will tell 4 stories. So 29 pilgrims, and each of them will tell 4 stories, 2 each while going and 2 each while coming back. And whoever tells the best story will be rewarded something special. Before going into those stories, there are several points to be discussed, especially from the net point of view. The first, this journey, these people, they started their journey from London to the Canterbury Cathedral. Both places are in London, but a specific one, that is the Canterbury Cathedral, where they will visit the shrine of the St. Thomas Becket. So from the center of London they are going to Canterbury Cathedral, and there is the shrine of Sir Thomas Becket. And the structure of this story, or this poem I would say, is quietly based on Sir Giovanni Boccaccio. Giovanni Boccaccio, an Italian writer. I have told you about this writer in some of the previous lessons as well. His famous work, that is Decameron. Decameron is this work has the same structure which is followed by Sir Geoffrey Chaucer in Canterbury Tales. In that poem also there are several means people, young boys and girls, they are going out in the village, and there they are telling stories one by one. So similar sort of structure is taken by Sir Geoffrey Chaucer from that work. So it is based on Decameron, and Decameron is written by Giovanni Boccaccio. Earlier I mentioned there is a work Tessida. Tessida is also written by Giovanni Boccaccio, and that inspired Sir Geoffrey Chaucer to write one poem, that is Annelida and Arcite. And there is also another poem in this Canterbury Tales, that is Knight's Tale. That is also inspired from Giovanni Boccaccio's Tessida. Okay, what is the opening line of this poem? April is the sweetest month of the year. This is the opening line. And there is a place called as Tabard Inn. So a place where all these 29 pilgrims will meet each other, and this place is situated in Southwark, London. And these 29 pilgrims, they represent the society, different sections of the society, different characteristics each of these have, vices and good qualities, both they represent. One more notable point about this poem is that most of the poem is in verse form, but at some point the narrator has given something, has presented some things in prose form. In the narrator has given a description of 27 pilgrims in the prologue, in the first general prologue, but the two pilgrims, second nun and the nun's priest, about them he doesn't talk much in the prologue. This is the point to remember. In the general prologue, he talked about all the pilgrims except the two. And which are those two? Second nun and nun's priest. And in the later sections, he talks about these two pilgrims. Now, out of these 29 pilgrims, some of them I would like to recite some of their names, like the knight is there, Square, the Oswald the Reeve. Reeve means the carpenter, Robin the miller, Roger the cook, the wife of Bath, shipman, Franklin, physician, parson, nun and nun's priest, the second nun. You can see all these names written in the picture. And further, if you want to write these names, you can make your notes. And one thing I would like again to remind you that the whole intention behind this lesson is that I'm giving you the basic details, which is necessary, I think. And it is up to you that how you take them, whether you make your own notes, whether you just listen and remember, whichever way you try. But I would suggest you that better it is that you always keep a pen, pencil and notebook in your hand and make your own notes as you listen to this lecture or lesson, whatever you call, because there are numerous things that as I tried when I was studying, I tried the same thing, means I was keeping a proper note of everything, and later it becomes easier to revise. Anyhow, we just move forward with those pilgrims. There are about 29, and Sir Geoffrey Chaucer is also among these pilgrims. So this is also to be remembered. And there is the host. The name of the host is Harry Bailey. This is a question in previous year question paper. Harry Bailey is the host. He is the owner of the Tabard Inn. You remember I mentioned that there is an inn where all these pilgrims met. And now further we have one more question, that is who really gave the idea of telling story. Means each of these pilgrims will tell a story and the best one will be rewarded. It was the host Harry Bailey gave this idea that one should tell a story, and there will be 4 stories, 2 while going and 2 while coming back. Further, a lot will be drawn, like a toss, you can say, something like we parchi dalte jaise, something like that will be done to decide who will tell the first story. So who was the first storyteller? That was the knight. Knight means among these pilgrims there is a knight, and he tells the story that is known as the knight's tale, means the tale told by the knight. The second story is told by the miller, and third is told by the reeve. So we shall discuss some of these important stories one by one. Some more points related to all these pilgrims. Further, we have a few more points from the previous year question papers. The pilgrims are divided in 3 social groups. Which are those? On the basis of nobility, means the noble peoples, means people having good qualities and virtues. And church, second is the church, means the people who belong to church, nun, priest, all such. And third one is the commoners, means everyone we see in the society. So nobility, church and commoner are the 3 social groups in which we can divide all these pilgrims. One more question was related that pilgrims who represent the upper class in the society, and there are 3 characters or the pilgrims: the knight, the squire and the prioress, nun. So from upper class we have the knight, the squire and the prioress, nun. That is, prioress is the nun. And one more, there is a quote: gladly would he learn, gladly teach. This is about the general prologue in Canterbury Tales. Gladly would he learn, gladly teach. This is said about Chaucer in the prologue. And in this poem, Geoffrey Chaucer has talked about 7 deadly sins. So, which are those 7 deadly sins? I just name them. Lust means desire for sex. Then envy means desire for what others have but we do not have, means jealous, envious we feel. Then pride means self extreme level, when someone feels so much in himself. Sloth, laziness. Number 4, wrath, ईर्ष्या किसी के means if you want to hurt someone. Wrath. Avarice means greed, you want more and more. And gluttony, consuming more than one needs. Consuming more than one needs, that is called gluttony. And which are not talked, and these are jealousy and homicide are not there. This is as a question, means these were the two things that mentioned there in the question. Jealousy means there might be some difference between envy and jealousy. So jealousy and homicide, homicide we all know, killing peoples, these two are not there among those 7 deadly sins talked about by Sir Geoffrey Chaucer. And then the name of the host is revealed. In fact, I told you the name of the host. Who is the host? Harry Bailey. But it is revealed in which story? This is also a question in the past, and it is revealed in the Cook's Tale. Means there is a cook in the story, and when he tells the story, Roger the cook, he tells the story. At that time, Chaucer reveals that the name of the host is Harry Bailey. So these were the questions from Canterbury Tales. So now in the upcoming lesson we shall discuss some of the important poems one by one. So thanks very much for watching this lesson, and have a nice day.